Welcome back. Well, after a mammoth meeting, the Liberals are this morning one step closer to dumping net zero, but not before another meeting. Joining us to discuss today's headlines is Nationals Senator Bridget Mckenzie in Melbourne and Independent MP Sophie Scomps in Sydney. Good morning to you both. Good to see you. Bridget, you must be thrilled this net zero pantomime is all falling in your favour.
Well, Sarah, it's good to see the Liberals gathering in Canberra to have a really necessary discussion about how we can take action on climate change, lower emissions without hurting our communities and households and sending jobs offshore. And I think it was really important for the Liberal Party to have that discussion. They've come to a resolution, and obviously their shadow cabinet will be having a meeting this morning to actually determine their final position before we come together as a coalition over the weekend to hammer out a final outcome. But I think the reality is, lowering emissions is a non-negotiable, but it shouldn't be at any cost. And right now, under Labor, we've spent $9 billion. Emissions haven't been reduced. Bills have gone through the roof and jobs offshore. So there's got to be a cheaper, better, fairer way. And we want to get on with achieving that, protecting our planet and also our people.
But you guys are the puppet masters here. I mean, this has just been dragging out for way too long, and there's now going to be little appetite for the coalition to form any kind of legitimate climate policy from the public. They just won't believe that you have that in your minds.
Well, I think Australians are dealing with the reality of aggressive targets that can't be met. The International Energy Agency has come out today saying that the globe will not meet its target, and that's despite our country reducing our emissions at double the rate of OECD
Bridget,
countries. So, Sarah, it's important that Australians know we have done double what rich OECD countries have done in emissions reduction, and yet we're not going to get there as a globe. So we've got to do our fair share,
yes,
but we can't do it all.
And yet, Bridget, none of that's cutting through because the public's just seeing you guys fight it out. I mean, Sophie, those images of the Conservative bloc emerging from that meeting yesterday, Angus Taylor, Hastie, Jacinta Price, all of them, you couldn't wipe the grins off their faces. It was quite off-putting. I mean, what did you make of that?
Look, I think it signals the death knell of the Liberal Party. They've been led around by the nose by the likes of Barnaby Joyce and Gina Reinhart for way too long. We have been facing climate change, which is the issue of our era, and the Liberal Party and the Nats have failed to act now for 25 years. Not only have they failed to act, they've failed to lead, and they've obstructed action on this. We know that the cheapest form of electricity is renewable energy. We would like to be way further ahead, but unfortunately we had a coalition that blocked action for many decades, and that's why people are moving away from the Liberal Party in droves.
And this is the point we're trying to make, Bridget. I mean, everything you said before is good to hear, but again, it's not cutting through. I mean, this is just starting to look like one big power play from the Conservative arm of the coalition, and specifically in yesterday's case, the Liberal Party.
But Sarah...
why did they vote Susan Lee in if all they wanted to do was undermine her?
Well, Sarah, to Sophie's point, if renewables were the cheapest form of power, increasing their capacity within our grid... Yeah, I'll get to that. But increasing the capacity in our grid, why are our bills going through the roof? And that is a legitimate question Australians are asking. Susan Lee's leadership isn't under threat at all. She's done the right thing when you've got a party room with a lot of different views, and Sophie doesn't, she can do what her electorate thinks, but with a party room that covers the whole of Australia, inner city, regional seats, right across different states and territories. There's a lot of different views, and you've got to give people time to talk it out, which they have, and they've landed in an agreed position. That's a good thing for a party of government to do.
She's not under threat, you don't think?
No, not at all. She's done the right thing in letting them have their say. And now we've got to get on with, exactly as you say, and as I'm sure your listeners want us to do, with being a really credible opposition going forward.
Yes, everyone wants that. Sophie, Liberal Tim Wilson put out a tweet yesterday saying that they've become the Nationals' light. Do you believe him?
Oh, I think they're the Nationals full stop. As Bridget said, they're unable to represent their electorates, and that is the key problem. So they've been led around by the nose by the Nationals for way too long, and I think what we see now, if the Liberals really did want to have their own policies, then they should have stayed separate from the Nationals, but they didn't. They've joined them, they're joining their policies, and they don't have their own. And they've showed, I think, a real lack of leadership on the biggest issue of our era, and have done so for decades now. And that's why we are seeing the demise of the Liberal Party before our eyes.
It's one of the big reasons you got voted in, Sophie. All right, one more meeting today, but I doubt that'll be the end of it. Let's see how it plays out. Bridget, Sophie, thanks for joining me this morning. Appreciate it.
How's the day in